Swings it in. Bridge gets a hit on it. There's the shot. They score! George Pakos!
So you scored back in 1985 to clinch a spot for Canada in the World Cup in 1986 in Mexico. How does it feel all these years later seeing this team do it again?
Well, I would just say, wow. When I watched it last night, it brought tears to my eyes. Actually, I was so proud to be a Canadian. Really, after, that beautiful performance. I figured that they'd step it up a bit. I got to give it to Costa Rica. They defended the game before that really good, but I figured that John would have them pumped up as he did, as they looked, and it was fantastic performance.
What do you make? You guys had a magical run in 1985. What do you see from this current squad that really gets you excited?
Well, one thing is they're so young. I mean, this team, beside Tiba, 39-year-old, that's unheard of, which is fantastic. And they're so young, they got so much ability, the quickness, the togetherness. I think that's one of the key factors, the same as we were, in 86, we were a real tight team and good defensively, and we didn't score many goals like this squad can. They can score goals at will almost. It's which the other countries are looking upon, right? So I think they're going to be around for a long time. The 26 World Cup in North America here, and hopefully, Vancouver. We'll get a game in Vancouver, but I see more and more of these young kids coming up, through Toronto, Major League Soccer, and I'm going to say we're going to be in the top 10 pretty soon.
That's a great prediction. Love to hear that. Listen,
yeah.
You kind of mentioned John Herdman there a little while ago. He's brought the women's team on the rise. He's brought the men's team on the rise. What is it about his leadership, do you think, that's really changed the climate in Canada? I
think he's just such a devoted individual, and he has such a repertoire with each player. He can just read each player, in my opinion, and no one seems to ever argue with him. They just he's got a game plan, and of course nowadays they've got all those assistants and little iPads and this and that, and it's funny to me when you see a player go on the field sometime and they show you a little iPad. This is what you're supposed to do and stuff, But he's got a great mix of players there that have all bought into his system, and it's an excellent system, and it's going to take Canada a long ways.
Do you have any advice to this squad as they prepare for Qatar in 8 months' time now?
My advice is just to keep playing the way that they're playing. They got one of their best players not even playing yet, Afonso. So when he gets, hopefully he'll get back and give him a little bit extra, but just keep doing what they're doing. They got good team morale. As you can see at the end of the game, they got the drum going in Toronto there, with the serial banging away, and I'm sure I had tears in my eyes at that time. I'm sure there was millions of Canadians that probably felt the same way.
George, thanks so much for doing this and reliving those moments back in 1985 and 1986 for us.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. And it hopefully it doesn't take another 36 years after this one. And I'm sure it won't.